Morning, everyone. I'm Dean Voss, Sustainable Ag Educator for Michigan State University Extension. We're standing here at the W.K. Kellogg Biological Station, one of MSU's Ag Bio Research Centers, and we're here to talk about the research we have going on in interseeding. Karen?
Yeah, good morning. I'm Karen Renner. I'm a professor at Michigan State, and one of the areas that I have an opportunity to work in is with cover crops, and we've been doing some work with interseeding.
I'm Caleb Ordner. I'm the graduate student working on this project of getting a better interseeding system set up.
Okay, so we've been working on interseeding at MSU for a few years, as other universities, and we work at various farmers' locations. Most of those farmers are currently interseeding, and we've had the opportunity to work with them. We've looked at timing of interseeding, we've looked at interseeding species, we've looked at how much seed you should put on per acre, what do you do if you have a mixture. So those are some of the areas that we worked in over the last 3 years. Today we're at KBS, Kellogg Biostation. It's mid-August, you can see by the corn behind us. It's a gorgeous day here, and we thought we'd come down and look to see how our interseeding treatments went. So in this particular field, we have a couple things going on. We seeded 2 different mixtures. One mixture winter kills, and one mixture does not. So Caleb, what was the mixture that we seeded that was winter killed, or will be winter killed?
The winter kill mix was radish, oats, and peas. We planted the oats at about 25 pounds per acre. The peas was about 20 pounds per acre, and the the radish was 2 pounds per acre.
So we have a winter killed cover mixture in here that we'll look at in a moment. And then we have a winter hardy cover crop mixture that we also established. And Caleb, what did we put in for the winter hardy?
The winter hardy mix is annual ryegrass, crimson clover, and dwarf Essex rape.
Okay, so we've got annual ryegrass, and the seeding rate on that is?
8 pounds per acre.
About 8 pounds per acre. And when you're buying annual ryegrass cover crop seed, you want to be sure you get that from a source that you know that is pure seed and doesn't contain some weeds that we don't want. So we have annual rye, and then we have crimson clover seeded at?
That's also at 8 pounds per acre.
8 pounds. And then the last cover we had, so you think about, we have a grass, we have a legume type cover, and then the third is more a brassica species. So dwarf Essex rape at 1.3 pounds. And then we have a few other things going on out here. We're looking at seeding over pen pack manure versus areas of the field that were not spread with pen pack manure. And we're doing some other types of operations to see if we can get how the soil surface influences establishment of the cover crops. So we'll stop here and we'll go in the corn. It's a little damp this morning. If you're wondering why I'm standing here and looks like I'm in a rain outfit, it's because the corn is damp this morning, a little bit of dew. Okay, so we walked in here, and Dean's behind the video. I'm standing here, you can probably see myself, and Caleb's off to the side. We're doing social distancing, as you all know what we need to do this summer. So if Dean focuses down, we're standing in the winter kill, and you should be able to see in his view frame some radish, some oats, and then there's a pea. So these were planted 6 weeks ago, and you can see that we've got the radish germination and emergence was good. They're doing well. Peas, we'd prefer to see like 1 every 2 to 3 square feet. You know, when you think about a seeding rate and you transfer it to what you have on a square foot basis, if you're seeding down, think about peas and how big the seed is, and then think about 1 pound or 2 pounds of that seed, or 5 pounds. You can see you're not going to have like a carpet of peas, and you're not going to have a carpet of radish, and you're not going to have a carpet of oats. Your goal is to have cover crop, you know, some cover crop there every square foot. We're on a sandy soil here. We're not irrigated, and so we're at a corn population around 30,000. You can still see the light coming in, so the cover crops still get some light to help them, and they get some moisture coming through the corn canopy. So we'll stop here and we'll walk over then and look at some winter hardy mix in this field. So now we're standing where we've seeded the winter hardy mix, and that would be annual ryegrass because that overwinters and will keep growing next spring. We seeded crimson clover, which sometimes overwinters and sometimes does not, just depending on the winter we have, and dwarf Essex rape. And you can see the 3 species in the view, and this, we're standing where we're in no-till, but without any pen pack, and so this field was in wheat probably last year, just looking at the residue. So you can see what's going on, and then as the corn senesces, they'll get more light, and as it cools off in the September, October, the cover crops like it, so they take off and grow a lot. And what you're seeing above ground is what you see, but what you don't see is what's going on below ground. And a lot of the reasons why we're looking at cover crops in systems is to improve soil health, soil microbial diversity, and having 4 different species here that are desirable: corn, dwarf Essex rape, annual ryegrass, and crimson clover. That's good for the soil health, for the soil microbial community. So this is one of them, and we'll look at the other establishments where we had pen pack and where we had tillage prior to planting corn.
So now we're in the treatment which is tilled with pen pack. You can see we got a really good catch of everything. I think really the combination of having it tilled so you have a better surface for seed soil contact, as well as having some nutrients from the pen pack, has really helped us get a well-established cover crop in this part of the field. Caleb, you want to tell everybody about how all of these cover crops have been interseeded in these plots?
Yeah. So this field, we're looking at 2 different kind of soil treatments, where we took a Gandy air seeder, where we actually blew the seed just right on the soil surface, and that's kind of a typical broadcast interseeding system. And then we also have a John Deere rotary hoe, where we took off a few sections so that we could allow the corn to go between the 2 sections, and we broadcasted the seed in front of the rotary hoes, and those rotary hoes actually came back and worked the soil up and kind of worked the soil or the seeds into the soil a little bit, so they had a little bit better seed to soil contact. So that's some of the reasons why we have such a good establishment here, rather than just having a typical broadcast system where the seed's just laying there on the soil surface, and if you don't get the rain, that those seeds might germ and then they don't get the roots established to get down because they don't have that good seed to soil contact.
You have any comments as far as what you've seen on the differences between how some of these cover crops grow, Caleb?
Yeah, we did another experiment where we actually grew some of these cover crops in a growth chamber where we could control every environment, and everything just, we could only grow it for 2 weeks before everything, that's as big as we could allow them to get before they would be too big. But the only one that didn't seem to do as great in that mix was the dwarf Essex rape. Everything else was all probably 4 or 5 inches tall, and the rapeseed was just barely getting out of the cotyledon stage when we were getting to that 2-week mark. So it definitely has quite a bit slower growth pattern compared to all the other crops, cover crops in these mixes.
We're now here in the treatment which is tillage without pen pack, and again you can see we have a really nice catch, and I think this points out some of the trade-offs that we have when we get into working with cover crops, building soil health. We don't encourage tillage because that does destroy soil health, soil structure. And we encourage the use of cover crops, and this is an example where we have to look at the trade-offs. You might not get quite as good a catch with your cover crops, but you don't destroy the soil structure, versus destroying some soil structure, some soil organic matter, and getting a better catch. With those types of trade-offs, you have to really be careful. You have to look at all the goals you're looking at using cover crops for and deciding the best way to achieve those goals. But remember, we do have compromises even when we're using cover crops.